What is up, everybody? We are rolling audio here today on episode 13 of The Harder Show. Hope you are having an absolutely awesome weekend so far. Thank you so much for hitting that play button and tuning in to part 2 of my Hanging Out podcast with my good friend, Mr. Brandon Bowden from Your Average Noob. Now, last episode, Thursday's episode, me and him talked all sorts of bullshit. We talked about how we met, talked about our cliques in high school, and we talked an awful lot about our high school band, if you can call it that. I don't really consider it that anymore, but we talked a lot about that. I had a lot of fun talking about it. I did not expect to talk so much about that, so for anyone who enjoyed the candid conversation about it, I hope you guys enjoyed it. This episode, we kind of focused a little bit more on Brandon schooling, what led him to wanting to start the whole Your Average Noob thing, and we talked quite a bit in depth about that. So, without further ado, let's roll into this here. We're back. We're rolling again here. I
feel like I'm a veteran at this now.
Oh, absolutely. Second episode, veteran. Last episode we kind of talked about how you and me met. Tiny bit about high school and our clique and that.
Most of it was about the band.
Which is a big topic for us, talking about our old quote-unquote band, Quarterstone and that.
Check out the previous episode for that stuff.
Oh, absolutely. There's some good stuff in there. And hope you guys did enjoy that episode. Let me know in the comments and everything as well, if you did, obviously.
The comments on SoundCloud?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
SoundCloud's the shit, man.
That's like the one thing I don't use, so... I do use it because I had all my radio production stuff on there, but yeah.
Oh, SoundCloud's great.
Actually, now I know now I'm thinking about it back. Yeah, I know there's comments.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
So, carrying on with our conversation here from last episode, I guess post high school.
Yeah, post high school, working at the travel center.
Me and you worked in that place together for a while.
Yeah, I know. I was there 3 years. You were there a little longer. You were there longer.
4 years or so, I'd say.
Yeah.
And goddamn,
it was an experience. That place was a lot of fun to work at when we first got there.
Oh, absolutely. And then a lot of changes happened. We'll just leave it at that.
Yep.
And it's me being back there now. It's an interesting place. I do miss the way it used to be. Obviously, having buddies who work there and stuff, but. It was always good having you working at Wendy's.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, bitch, make me a burger.
I know.
You're the grill guy extraordinaire.
Yeah, they wouldn't let me on sandwiches. I was terrible at it.
But you were the grill guy extraordinaire.
Oh, yeah. I ruled that grill.
Exactly. And we worked there for about 2 years after high school.
Yep.
A lot of our buddies were away at college and stuff, and they're all over the place. And
it was a really awkward time.
It was a very awkward time. We were hanging out a lot, and
not because we were hanging out, but just because a lot of people were gone. But.
Oh yeah, a lot of people were gone. It's pretty much just you and me for a long time.
It was, yeah.
We going through post high school dating scene and so forth, and
because the high school dating scene was non-existent for us.
Oh, there was no dating happening.
There was one girl we pseudo fought over, and that was about it.
And I even use that term loosely.
Oh yeah, completely. It wasn't more of a fight. Be like, you want her? Not if you do. Oh, well, this is awkward.
Well, shit.
It wasn't even a fight. It was just she wanted to date one of us. It wasn't me. It was you. I couldn't get over that.
And I didn't want to date her anywhere near as much as you did. And it was just one of those situations.
Yeah, it just completely worked out backwards.
And that's just how it goes sometimes.
Yep.
So basically, we just had each other for a while.
Yeah. I ended up going to school for sports administration at Durham College. Well, actually, before that, I spent a lot of my time in Burlington.
Yes, I can't believe I forgot that.
That was well, we both have memories in Burlington.
None good. I kid. I have no good memories.
Hey, what if people we know in Burlington listen to this? You have to be nice.
That's fine.
That's fine.
I don't have any really great memories in Burlington that much. So
well, I have
good memories. But.
I started dating somebody in Burlington, and it was fun for a couple months. The last couple months, it wasn't as fun. But since I was down there so much, we started seeing less and less of each other. And it seemed to just become it was a little bit of a phase winter for a couple of years, not seeing much of each other. And then when I started going to college and I had my second girlfriend, we saw even less of each other because I was either at school or I was in Guelph, because apparently I can't date a girl who lives within 25 kilometers of me.
Yes, and for people who don't know, we live in Newcastle Orno area.
Yeah.
And Burlington is about two hours away.
Yeah, well, it's, where we are is about 45 minutes east of Toronto, and the places where all my girlfriends lived were at least an hour and a half,
2 hours.
an hour out west of Toronto. So you can imagine the amount of driving I was doing with my old '99 Chevy Blazer.
And not to mention the first car.
My first car, Carla. The 1995 Monte Carlo.
God, I missed that car.
I know. I never took that. I took that thing to Burlington once for Michelle's prom. That was a journey and a half because I did not know how to drive to Burlington. I had not been any further west than Pickering,
And that was
which is before Toronto, and that was pushing for that car. I didn't know when that car was going to die on me. That car finally died on me on a trip to Belleville, and the whole axle came apart.
God damn.
The whole front axle came apart, and it was just like, yeah, you got to scrap the car. I was like, damn it.
Man, I remember that. I missed that car. I really do. And so, like you said, we when girlfriends come into the situation, especially at distance, start seeing a lot less of each other. So we started seeing a lot less of each other, which just happens over time,
It does, yeah.
Having
and it was weird because when I started dating Michelle, you weren't dating, and then I got my second relationship it was 6 months, so it was fairly quickly, I guess. It was average, and then I think then you started dating in the middle of that relationship, and then I got out of the relationship I was in. Then kind of a couple months later, you were in a relationship that you're still in today, and then I've been single ever since.
Well, I was with Sam near the end of your second relationship. Actually.
You were you weren't with Sam. How long have you and Sam been together? 2012.
Yeah, it's 4 years.
Okay, you were with Sam. Okay, so by the time me and Chantel broke up, you were 6 months in with.
Yeah.
9 months.
I was a few months.
Math.
We were a few months in.
You were 9 months in by that point.
Yeah. So, but obviously, when two friends who see each other almost every day.
So one of us has basically been in a relationship for the last 6 years.
Yeah, really. So
most of those years have been you. Thank you for putting in the work.
Yeah,
I just don't feel like it right now.
That's what I do. Luckily, having someone who makes it easy is always good. But
TJ likes to play his relationships on easy mode, while I prefer, difficult as hell mode.
Yeah.
When it comes to relationships, it's not showing skill level. I'm just an idiot.
Oh God. But so we. I guess the point I'm trying to make here is, we didn't see each other as much, and then with you going to, because you went for sports management first, right?
Sports management. I was at Durham for 2 years, Durham College for 2 years. I dropped out because I hated it. You'd think I wouldn't.
And what was it you were trying to? What was your plan potentially?
I wanted to own a sports team. That was my whole thing.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I wanted to own my own sporting franchise at one point. I wanted to own a business of some sort. And I'm like, oh, sports franchise seems like a lot of fun. And then the whole course became business management. It wasn't even sports management after a while, It was everything you would do in business management, like sales and marketing and stuff like that. But instead of marketing certain things, you're marketing hockey sticks and footballs. It's like, okay. It was fun. I think my biggest gripe about it was that because I didn't live there and I would commute back and forth, that I didn't make a lot of friends there. I was very lonely at that point, and me and my second ex broke up while I was in there, and I went into a very depressive state at that point, and I just didn't want anything else to do with the program, and that was the final straw. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, for sake of a better argument.
Yeah, especially not really having time to make friends there. And,
Yeah.
you had, Adam was there for a little while, wasn't he?
Adam was there, but I saw him I saw him on the bus on the way home.
Yeah, so you guys can imagine how difficult that would be, going through all that. So you
Not to mention, I wasn't really because I was in my relationship at the time, through most of the program. I thought I didn't need to make friends.
Of course,
which it was a stupid attitude to have, but it was a bad situation after a while, and I needed to get out of it.
So from there, you decided to go to Belleville.
Yeah. I dropped out the sports management. I went to Belleville for radio broadcasting, which obviously I'm doing a lot with.
Well, I mean,
seeing how I'm still working as a full-time cook.
I mean, you are sitting here with the host.
That's true.
That's
true. It's my first real interview for this kind of stuff.
With the host of the illustrious podcast, The Harder Show.
That's true.
A future award-winning podcast here.
Remember that when you cut my check for me coming on here.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Your check will be in the mail tomorrow.
Beautiful.
Was it $2?
Oh, it's $1.50.
Oh, okay, cool. Right on.
Okay.
I can afford that. And going to school in Belleville, obviously, you're even further.
I was further away from home, which was hard for me because I was very sheltered as a kid. I was very kept at home sort of thing. My parents did not like the idea of me going away for school, but I did, and it was probably I'm not gonna say best years of my life, but it was a lot of fun 2 years.
Yeah, you made a lot of friends out there too.
I did. I made a lot of friends out there, which was very interesting, contrasting it with the 2 years I spent in Durham, where I was commuting, I was miserable, and I was driving half the time and not making friends, where I went to Loyalist and made fast friends with a bunch of people.
No, because you lived out there.
Yeah.
And that was around that time, obviously, I'd been dating Sam.
Yep.
And
you guys had that issue for a while, though, the distance. I forgot about that.
Well, yeah, but
you guys had a distance thing going for it. Wasn't that long, but you guys still had to work.
It was a year. It was a year that Sam was going to school in Ridgetown.
And that's farther than anywhere I had to go.
And I mean, unfortunately, I did not have a car that could get me there and back, so I had to take the train a lot, which got expensive. And also with me working at the store full time at this point at gigs, basically, not in a bad way, but like I didn't really have any time to go to Belleville ever. And when I potentially did have time, I couldn't afford it. So, and also having Sam as far away as she was, even though it was only for a year, it's tricky. So I could obviously relate to the distance and stuff and the long distance relationship type stuff. And you were the one person that was like, dude, like just,
I was skeptical for you first because I've seen how mine had crashed and burned. I'm like, dude, I don't know if it's, I'm like, this is a lot of effort to go through. I'm like, I'm not saying, like, it had nothing to do with Sam. I just didn't want to see you go through the same thing I had gone through with my two girlfriends at that point, having just, it took a toll on the relationship after a while. It really, like, chipped away at, like, everything I had in the relationship. It really chipped away, and I'm like, I don't want that thing to happen to him, and it didn't for you guys, at least.
Well, I think the number one thing is we had time in.
Yeah, I was with my, like, the good example is my second girlfriend, where I was with her for a month while she was kind of living locally around here, and then she was gone.
And we were together for over a year.
Yeah, you guys also had that time.
And she was only gone for a year. She came home all the time. Obviously, I wish I could have gone up more. That was the one thing on my end. I was hopeful for going up, but she came home a lot, so it worked. But we didn't. There was basically a 2-year period, I would say, while you were at Loyalist. We rarely saw each other. It was very. Because you were there for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
We barely saw each other. We would talk every once in a while, but like. There was pretty much, I think, a year.
Yeah, it was a year.
Year
and a half.
Yeah, like, I think from me and Sam's, I don't remember what anniversary we celebrated when she was at school. I feel horrible. I don't remember. I think it was.
It probably would have been like your second or third.
I think it was our second year.
Given the timeline where I was in school, it would have been like the second or third.
Yeah, and basically from our 1 year to our 2 year, like, just as a timeline, we didn't really see a whole lot of each other, talk a whole lot. Yeah. And it was on our 2-year anniversary, you sent me a big text, and you're just like, dude, like, blah, 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 whatever the fuck.
Yeah, because I had been a jerk at some points, for lack of a better word. Mm-hmm. I had been a jerk, and there was one night at a bar where I said some insensitive things, and I was just, I guess it was a phase. I was very resentful of anybody in a relationship almost at that point.
Yeah, and I mean, did it? It did definitely affect. There's that year there, like I said, where we barely talked. And it's like, obviously, that sucks looking back, but looking back on it now, I mean, we're sitting here. So, exactly. I mean, hey. But everyone goes through shit. But we, you were at school and everything, and we started chatting more. And then I remember you coming home about 2 years ago now.
1 year.
I can't believe it was 1 year. Yeah, I just my timeline's all fucked up today. I don't know why.
I think in 3 months it'll be a year since I've been home.
Yeah. And, Sam was home and everything, and me and Sam were kind of doing our thing, and we were living together at this point. And so I was home a lot more. Not that, I was never home or anything. It was just a...
You were still busy a lot because I think the biggest thing we're not taking into account here is the store. You're
yeah.
running the store at this point. You're running gigs at this point, so it's hard for you to even find time to hang out with anybody.
Yeah. And, I mean, obviously, if I had a weekend where I wasn't at the store, I wanted to see Sam because me being away from him was really hard. So it was like, fuck.
People usually say, "Oh, you're whipped by your girlfriend." No, you were whipped by your job at that point.
there was never a moment really where I was ever whipped by Sam. Like, truthfully, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Well, you barely had time to hang out with your own girlfriend, much less anybody else, because of the store.
Absolutely. So it's just what happens in life. You lose touch with people, and there's so many people I haven't seen.
Yeah.
In a long time, and I don't see very often. It is what it is, but us going from literally seeing each other, talking like every day, to basically not seeing each other for a while, and then potentially coming back. And I remember I was like, "Oh, like cool!" Like, started seeing each other more. Started hanging out again, and obviously, there was some cobwebs a little bit, but started hanging out, and then really the thing that I think we always both loved wrestling.
Yeah.
And we're both in, gamers and stuff, and with us being into that, we would. I think the one thing that kind of kept us friends, I guess, during the whole thing was every once in a while we would play Borderlands or something.
Yeah, we killed a lot of time playing Borderlands and Red Dead Redemption
and that, so that was good. Yeah. So gaming and wrestling and music is something that's always kind of brought us together. So when you were home, I mean, you were working a lot. You work a lot. And
not as much. I don't work as much now as I used to, but
when you first came home, you were working a lot. I was like, I'm going to see.
My boss was so happy to have me back.
Yeah,
he's like, oh, you're ready to go 5 days a week? It's like, oh, screw off.
That's the joys of working. And
I haven't even got my college diploma yet, and he's already throwing me back in the fire.
Oh God. And you were working at what was it you were doing? You did your internship? What was it?
I did my internship at Sportsnet 590 The Fan, which is just a Rogers owned sports talk radio station out in Toronto.
Yeah, which is cool.
Pretty big station. That was my dream. Was the whole time, when I first went to Loyalist for radio broadcasting, the whole thing I said is I'm gonna go to this 590. I'm gonna go to Sportsnet 590 The Fan. I'm gonna take that place over. That was my whole thing on the thing. My whole idea. And when I got the interview to actually go for the interview for the internship, I'm like, oh my God, I'm actually making this happen. So I go to the interview, and they bring me into this little room and I've been listening to this station since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So they got this whole whiteboard in this room they're interviewing me in, and it's got the whole schedule for the whole week almost. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my goodness. And people were walking by who I've been listening to on the radio for years. I'm like, oh my God. It was like a 13-year-old girl at a One Direction concert. I was marking out. I'm like, oh my God, there's Bob McCown. Oh my God, there's Tim and Sid. And I know nobody probably know who the hell I'm talking about.
People who do are probably popping right now.
Yeah, I met Tim and Sid. I met Bob McCown, even though he wasn't really that willing to meet me. I met the guys I've listened to on the radio, just doing the updates, the guys who did the updates. I'm like, I saw them as celebrities. I'm like, oh my God, I listened to you on my way home. That.
I remember you texting me to tell me you got the internship, and I was like, me not being a sports guy other than wrestling, I was like, oh dude, that's sick. Who's that guy? And who's that guy? You're like, dude, I just met the Bob dude, whatever his name was, and I'm like, cool, man. Who's that?
But it was a rush, and I went there for my first day of the internship and all that. Didn't have my parking pass or my because you need a pass to get just in the building. I didn't have my pass to get in, so I'm sitting there. I emailed the guy. I'm like, "Hey, I'm outside the gates. Can you let me in?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'll be there in a minute." 15 minutes later, he came up, let me in. Good guy though. He was the nicest guy. Eric Prime is his name, and we go, and they basically tell me it's like, "You're going to be editing audio all day." I'm like, "Okay." So basically, what they had me doing was on this news software. And just recording stuff they did on the radio, and then cutting them up into clips, and then filing the clips in the news logger. I'm like, oh, So what do I do tomorrow? Same thing. And the day after that, same thing. The day after that, same thing. Okay, I see a pattern here.
So you spend a lot of time editing audio.
Yes, that was basically all I did.
And you did videos too, right? Didn't you a little bit?
Nope.
Or?
It was all audio, so it was all just levels, looking at levels all day. And by the time, I think it was 2 weeks in, I got home, like, my eyes were just buggy. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
So it was a good experience for you.
Oh, it was really cool. I got to meet a couple guys from the Raptors. I got to meet a couple guys from the Jays, and I did it. And I did it for 5 weeks, and then I went back to working at the Canada Night Sports, where I've worked for the last 5 years almost. And I got the time I spent at the 590 kind of almost soured me towards it. I'm like, okay, it didn't seem all it was cracked up to be. I went there thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna be freaking talking about sports all day and dealing with sports all day, and I did, but it was like, okay, it almost soured me a little towards sports because this is something I've loved since I was a kid, and I godded it up so much.
Yeah.
And then I get there, it's just like, wow, they just really don't care about, like, if you're an intern, they just don't care about you.
Which is, I'm sure it's like that everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, there's like one or two guys, like the guys who brought me in for the internship, they were always checking on me, making sure I was good. The editor who I had an editor every shift where he was making sure everything was good. But other than that, like, you were invisible to those people.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and I would pipe up and say something every now and then to somebody if they were like saying something with sports and all that, and they kind of look at you after you said it and be like, okay, whatever. It's like, okay.
Yeah, which I could see why that would...
you kind of like just like... And I'm like sitting there thinking, I'm like, I know a lot more than some of you people.
And that's the thing with me, is like, I was like, man, like, there's no reason you couldn't sit down right now, as far as I'm concerned, and be on the radio doing that. Like, to me, like, I listen to you on the radio in Belleville all the time. Yeah. And I'm like, man, like, I listen to other people who were on the radio, and, all due respect to them, and I'm not just saying this, like, I'd be sitting there listening to them, and I'm like, man, this guy sucks, And then, like, your show would come on, and I'm like, oh, yeah, like, am I biased a little bit? Maybe, but, fuck, I wouldn't laugh, I wouldn't smile, I would just be, and now here's Jim with his hit song, Fucking Your Dog,
Well, that was the whole experience, like going there and going to Belleville and taking radios. They teach you all that, right?
Yeah.
They teach you have to be more than just... I mean, I remember getting to the program, and I met 3 people the first day. One ended up being, like, my best friend through college. Like, just the best friend I had on the program.
And who was that?
That was Tori.
Tori, okay.
Another one I met, this guy was completely monotone. I'm like, he just had one tone of voice. It was literally always like, and that's just how it is. And the music that is coming up next will be this and that. And the weather and news will be at 2 p.m. And I'm like, that guy's got to drop out at some point. I was right.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't be monotone and do this. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
And so but that was one of the things they built up, though, right? Like, I had a whole class in Loyalist in Belleville there where we literally learned how to pronounce and enunciate words properly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like earlier when I was talking about Toronto, a lot of people say Tirana.
Tirana. When I say Toronto, I say Toronto.
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 Right? Or when people pronounce... Like, we had a whole class, like one day, that we devoted to talking about butter instead of butter.
Butter.
Oh.
Butter.
Oh.
Butter.
It's ridiculous.
See, I'm not a professional. I never took any course or any of this kind of bullshit. I just say things the way I say it, and every once in a while, from doing this podcast, you get a kick out of it. Every once in a while, I find my extremely, extremely minor speech impediment comes out. It's so minor you never notice it, but there are certain words I'll say, like Caesar.
You said it right. Caesar.
Yeah, I said it right there. But then I'll be like Caesar salad.
Caesar salad.
And it's the weirdest thing. Now that I'm editing myself, like there's things I find with myself that like I'm like, man, I do that. Like for example, I never realized how much I say certain things. Like when I'm trying to kind of bullshit to make a point, I'm like, oh, so if I say or smack my lips one more time, I'm gonna fucking strangle myself.
Yeah, you realize that after.
Oh, is that something you realize for yourself too? Like just.
The first thing I realized was I hated the sound of my own voice. Yeah. That was the first thing I noticed when I started doing it. anything else, I have a stutter sometimes if I don't know where I'm going with the sentence.
Yeah, I think most people
Like if I don't have a script in front of me, I'm doing it right now. If I don't have a script in front of me, I'll start to stutter because I'm just trying to organize my thoughts. And the other thing I noticed, and I've been told a lot of times, I speak incredibly fast.
Well, it's I do the same thing. Like there are certain podcasts I'll do parts of it, and I'll listen to like say a 5-minute segment I do, and I'm like, dude, like I'm talking so fast here.
Yeah.
And that's just part of it. The one thing I always enjoyed about you with what you did was some people I feel like would be too scripted. Like right now, we're sitting here doing this. There's no script in front of us. I don't even have bullet points today. Sometimes I'll usually have bullet points, so I kind of keep on track. There's none of that bullshit. We're just hanging out, having a conversation. But which is why this is all over the fucking place.
Well, my thing was always, I when I was on air, I would sometimes have bullet points, but then I'd have like a joke that would go along with the bullet points, because that was always my thing. I think as I got out of high school and all that, people started laughing at me more and more, and I kept on looking in the mirror, and I didn't have anything in my face or anything like that. It's just, apparently I had a knack for being funny.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm like, I don't know what these people are talking about, but, I'll run with it. And so I'm like, well, okay, I'll just be that funny guy on the radio. I mean, there's funnier guys on the radio, but I take it I like to think I take it to a different level, because I can be kind of crass, kind of crude at the same time, but also I can do clean humor at the same time.
Oh, absolutely.
Like innuendos and self-deprecation are my number one senses of humor.
Yeah.
Like, I can make fun of myself all day.
Oh, I can do the same thing. Yeah. And I mean, with talking about that, the one day you texted me and said, "Hey man, actually, it was you invited me to like a page on Facebook."
Yeah.
Which was Your Average Noob Gaming page. And I texted you saying, like, oh, what the hell's this? And you're like, oh, we're going to start streaming on Twitch. Mm-hmm. And I had 3 questions. Number 1, what is Twitch?
Yep.
Number 2, what the hell is streaming?
That was most people saying, okay, what the hell's Twitch? When I told them about it, it's like, okay. And then especially, like, if you ever want to get women, don't use this line. I play video games while people watch me. Like that was it's a great line to not use at bars against women. It's like, hey, over there, you give me a call. You can watch me on Twitch. What's Twitch? Don't ask.
It's unless you're picking up nerd chicks at a convention. And it's like, yeah, I'm a Twitcher. Oh my god, really? I'm already horny.
Most of them are like, yeah, so what?
So am I.
Yeah. And you know what? Not to sound sexist or anything like that, but it's so much easier for girls to get started on Twitch than guys.
Well, I think
because, like, think about it. Like, a guy sitting in front of a website where he watches other people play video games, why wouldn't he want to watch a girl?
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if he finds her attractive or something like that. It's like, oh. Because then in the back of their mind, they're thinking, I'm going to pick up this girl. No, you're not.
You're never going to.
First of all, she probably lives like 300 miles away from you. Second of all, no.
You know how many guys probably hit on her a day?
Oh my god, like that's the thing. Like, and to their credit, a lot of them do a good job of not even like letting on that sort of.
Oh sure, yeah.
That personality where it's like flirty or something like that. It's like because you can't be, or else you'll be being harassed the whole time. But I never had that issue, thankfully.
Yeah.
I never even had a viewer flirt with me, so it's like okay, I'm good. Because you got to think, especially as a guy, if a viewer started flirting with you, it's like, nope. Nope, none of
that. But
because the chances of them being under 18 are way too good.
Oh god. But the third question I had about the whole thing was, I saw the list of everyone who was going to be involved with it. Mind you, only 2 of them ended up really being involved with it. But I said, motherfucker, where's my invite? And of course, being that I don't have a computer, I don't game as much as you guys, and I didn't even know what Twitch or streaming was. But it's funny looking back how I was like, oh fucking, all right, okay, fine. I remember I was like, I'm not mad, but I was like, oh, okay then, fine.
Well, I'm gonna go back to tell you how this whole idea got started.
All right, we're gonna hear it from Brandon here.
This is the first time anybody's ever heard the story. There you go. This is exclusive.
This is the story.
The exclusive inside scoop on how this whole thing started.
We're only here on the Harder Show. You're going to hear this guy's exclusive story.
If you go to the YouTube channel, you'll be the 27th, 28th subscriber.
We just started
the YouTube.
What's the YouTube channel?
Your Average Noob, but it's spelled with zeros instead of O's.
So, noob, folks. I'll put it in the description here somewhere, noob. I'm sure. It's N00b, Your Average Noob.
Yep. And also Twitch, Facebook, Twitter. Twitter's at Average Noob TV. Again, with zeros instead of O's.
We'll put all that.
It'll all be in there. So when I was in college, I went through a lot of anxiety when I was in Belleville because I was getting very homesick, and my grandfather was sick as well.
Yeah.
At the time, and I always felt like something bad was going to happen while I was in Belleville, and thankfully, like I say thankfully, but it's odd. I mean, he ended up passing away while I was home in the summer.
Yeah.
So I was here with my family when it happened. Fortunately, if you know,
and I mean, you know, being around for it and being home at least.
Yeah, that was the big thing for me. It happened in the summer where I could still be there, but like the first year I was a mess in Belleville, so a lot of the times I was sitting around my room.
Yeah,
and I started exploring YouTube. I feel like this is like I started exploring pornography. No.
Well, I mean, we've both already all done that. Let's just be honest.
Some to other extents than others.
Of course.
But I started exploring YouTube, and I've always liked Pokemon. Pokemon was always a game I played growing up, and I remember I found like my old Game Boy Advance SP with like Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. So I'm like, I'll just play those in my room, right? So then I started watching YouTube channels that talked about Pokemon. And if you don't know what Pokemon is, I'm sorry.
We can't help you.
Just leave. No,
we can't help you. Don't leave. Please don't leave. I need the view. Please don't. Don't say these things. I need it, man. I'm telling you, I'm desperate. The more listens I get, the better.
I'm just joking, of course. So I watched these YouTubers that talked about Pokemon, and then and then there was these things I found called Let's Plays, and I'm like, what the hell's a Let's Play? So I watched it. It was literally somebody on YouTube making a video of themselves playing this Pokemon game, and I'm like, okay, this guy's entertaining and he's playing Pokemon. I like Pokemon. I'll just watch. So I watched, and I'm like, I'll watch this episode, see what it's about. That turned into a good solid month of being in my room. All I did was go to class, come home, watch Pokemon LPs on YouTube, and play Pokemon while I was watching them. And I was fascinated by it. And so originally my whole plan was to be like, I'm going to be a Pokatuber. Because that's what they call themselves. They call themselves Pokatubers.
Hashtag Pokatuber.
Hashtag Pokatuber. So I'm like, I can do this. I can play Pokemon and talk. Like, I'm going to school for radio broadcasting. I should be entertaining enough where I can play Pokemon and entertain somebody.
I think that's really where you learned how much you love the whole creating content.
Yeah, and it really was. Because I'm like, okay, I'm going to wait till school's over, and then I'm probably going to start this thing up. And then this is the end of first year. So
yeah.
I'm like, okay, I have one more year of school to go, and then I'm going to start this whole thing up. And so second year, first thing I did with my OSAP money was I built a computer, which we're actually sitting in front of now.
Yes, the dual screen thing here that still trips me out every time I see it.
2 screens, John Tron's face on both screens, looking shocked as hell. And I'm like, okay, well, for this year, it's going to be my audio recording computer because I was doing a lot of radio commercials for school. And then I'm like, after school's over, I'm going to start doing this thing. So I finish school, graduate. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready to do this. So I'm talking to a couple buddies, and they're saying, oh, don't start on YouTube. You can't get found on YouTube. Start on Twitch. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm going to call this thing. And my one buddy, Andrew, is like, well, me and my buddies always had this thing where if we started a thing, we're going to call it Your Average Noob because, like, we're not pros and all that. We're just normal guys playing video games. I'm like, I like that. I'm like, that describes me to a T. Doesn't really describe Andrew very well, who's basically Major League Gaming, League of Legends.
He's basically professional League of Legends gamer.
Yeah, like, and he actually has a channel. He actually started a YouTube channel covering professional League of Legends.
Yeah, I haven't really checked it out a whole lot, but from what I've saw, it's really good.
Yeah, and that's what he went to school for. He went to school for TV and new media. So of course he video edits a lot better than I do. And then I'm like, okay, so I'm going to start this streaming channel. So I'm like, I'd known of Twitch a little bit before. But then I'm like, okay, I'm going to start streaming. So my first stream was me and Andrew playing Shovel Knight.
Yes, I remember
Which is such a good game.
I remember that I remember tuning in for the first stream, and
yeah.
I didn't know what to expect.
Well, the thing I found out was I didn't have the internet to stream.
Yeah, you found that out pretty quick.
I was devastated. I'm like, I can't even do this. But Andrew's like, okay, I'll do the streaming, and we'll just both be on the stream. I'm like, okay. So it was him playing Shovel Knight, me just kind of being there. It kind of just leapt off from there. We got a couple followers the one night, and then after a while, I upgraded my internet so I could stream. And I'm like, what? I'm going to go throwback here and play all this Pokemon I used to watch a couple years ago. and that's when it started to kind of like build up. I'm like, we had like maybe 50 followers when Andrew was doing Shovel Knight, and we played a couple other games, like we played Super Mario after what's his first name? Iwata. The guy from Nintendo who passed away.
Yeah, I don't
Iwata is his, I know Iwata is his last name, but he passed away, so we did a Mario stream in honor of him, and we got, and then I started playing Pokemon on the stream when I could start streaming.
That's really...
And that's when people started to pick up on it.
Yeah, that's what
I mean, the channel's at like 271 followers, which is nothing crazy, but it's more than I ever expected. And a lot of that's due to the Pokemon I started to play because I did. And then I thought, okay, well, I'm going to play it a little differently. I'm going to do something called a dare lock, where if anybody's played Pokemon, you know that your Pokemon sometimes faint. But in a lock format, when your Pokemon faint, they're dead. You can't use them no more. But I'm like, I'm going to take it one step further. I'm going to do that. Plus, because it's a live stream, I'm going to get them to interact with me when something's dead. Be like, okay, I lost this Pokemon. Now somebody has to dare me to do something. I'm telling you, I did some weird stuff on those live streams. I watched 2 minutes of gay pornography.
I don't remember that.
I watched One Man, One Jar, which I'm not going to recommend to anybody listening right now. What else did I have to do? I had to twerk in front of a camera for 30 seconds on live stream.
There's some fucked up people on the internet. The fact that these people asked you to do this.
And you know what? It brought in some people. Like, people were, and if I didn't do it, people were asking me, like, oh, where's the dare lock? I'm like, you care? I used to do it. Every Monday I would do it. And I eventually beat it. And, yeah, and then I just kept on doing that. And then eventually, after, I think it was 6 months, I started really getting, not bored, but like it was getting very difficult to keep moving with it and all that because I'm very picky with my video games.
Yeah, well, you and our good buddy Mr. Ryan Wood,
yep,
known to the Your Average Noob fans as Boozenheimer.
Yep.
You guys did those. What I really remember watching it a lot when I was at the shop was you guys would do those like the
Pokemon Showdown
thing. Yeah, the Pokemon Showdown,
which was basically a battle simulator for Pokemon, which we would do together and just have a lot of fun just doing that. But after a while, Pokemon started to take its toll on me.
Yeah.
I just like, if you play one game too much, it just
absolutely
takes a toll on you. So I'm like, okay, I have to stop doing this. And then like, I didn't really want to play any other games at the point. I just wanted to like, watch wrestling sometimes.
You really...
I really wanted to just do something else, right? And...
like, you've always been a big wrestling fan, but like,
always, yeah.
You started really watching like some NXT stuff.
Yeah, I started seeing what was going on in NXT, and I'm like, hold on. I'm like, I got another idea now. And that led to a video I made on the actual Your Average Noob channel, which is all gaming, supposed to be all gaming, where I just randomly did an NXT review.
Yeah.
NXT TakeOver London. And so I did that, and I'm like, wow, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I remember we, just before we did, me, you, and Woody did that one stream on Twitch. Was it TLC review?
Yeah, because I remember you weren't there for Survivor Series, which you didn't miss much.
Yeah, I heard I didn't miss much.
Terrible. Survivor Series 2015 was the worst thing that ever happened to WWE since Survivor Series 2013, apparently. That was a sign. The best part of the Survivor Series 2015 was the guy holding the giant Jim Cornette sign.
Wasn't that
Jim
TLC?
Cornette. Was it?
That was TLC.
Oh,
I was there for that.
Never mind, they didn't even have a Survivor Series.
I
I just remember there was a giant Jim Cornette head, and it was gone after a while. But yeah, I started watching a lot of wrestling. I'm like, I kind of want to do a wrestling thing. So I'm like, under that name, I'm just going to start a wrestling channel. Just call it Your Average Noob Wrestling.
Which is extremely creative, by the way.
Well, my whole inspiration for the channel, I modeled the channel after another YouTube channel, which was another kind of thing I watched. Because you know me, I'm a huge sports fan, and I'm a huge Toronto Maple Leafs fan. There's a guy on YouTube named Steve Dangle, who I watch, and he is brilliant. He works for Sportsnet. I've met him once working at Sportsnet. And
was he cool?
He's a nice guy. He was like more talking to the guy that was across from me, and I didn't really get a chance to say much to him, but I wanted to mark it and be like, oh my god, I love your videos.
Time my boobs, please.
Yeah, I could have. But watching his videos, I became fascinated with jump cuts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he uses jump cuts so well. like, what if I did that but for wrestling? And if you watch my videos in contrast with his, they're very similar in just jump cuts of me yelling and screaming a lot.
But not literally the exact same.
Not literally the exact same. I mean, we have, like, there's obviously differences, but, like, it's modeled very much after him.
The whole jump cut thing.
The whole jump cuts were one thing I took. I'm like, I want to do jump cuts. Because people love jump cuts. I don't know why.
That's funny.
I feel like I have a knack the timing of jump cuts. If you time jump cuts perfectly, they're brilliant. If you don't know what you're doing jump cuts, I mean, you can screw yourself up, but if you know how to work a jump cut, you're, like, golden.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've started incorporating that into some of the videos now that we do on the gaming channel, even though we haven't been able to do much on the gaming channel just because I just haven't felt like recording a lot of gaming stuff, and I knew I'd drag my PS4 to my basement, which means I have to bring the TV with it, and then I have to fit a third monitor on this desk somehow, and it's... Eventually I'm going to get to that point. I want to have... But the whole idea of this stemmed from me wanting to own my own business. And eventually I want to turn this whole thing into an operation of sorts where I have a studio. In a way, I wanted to do it where I wanted eventually to get to a point where I can build my own studio and help other people who are like me just wanting to start this kind of stuff do it without needing to have the resources.
Exactly. It's making...
Say if I have a building with, like, 6 studio spaces. And I'd be like, rent them out for, 3 hours each to people and all that, and they pay this amount of money and all that to rent a room for 3 hours where they can just sit and record. You don't have a computer and all that? Well, if you pay this, you can get this room for 3 hours and record whatever you want. All your supplies are in there.
Have everything ready to go for them.
Yeah.
So for people who potentially... Someone like in my situation, I don't have a computer at home really that I can use whenever I want, so...
Yeah. And it was like multimedia. I would do, like, you could do video, you could do... audio,
podcast.
Exactly. If you wanted to do a podcast, you come in there, record a podcast. I mean, imagine how many podcasts you could do. If you're doing them half an hour, you get 6 podcasts in that 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're me. Because I'm probably the only fucking podcaster in the world.
You get a discounted rate.
I would hope so. I mean, I'm the only guy in the world who does, on average, a 20, 25-minute podcast, and it takes me an hour and a half to record it. But that's just how I record things, so it is what it is.
Well, with this multimedia studio and me as your producer, I will turn that down to, like, an hour.
Right on. But, so that's... Your whole thing is, I remember you saying to me, like, I want Your Average Noob to be a brand.
Yeah.
You have the gaming thing, the wrestling thing, and then wherever else you want to go from there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't need subscribers to really branch out. If I have the time and I have the wherewithal, I can do whatever I want. Right? I mean, I have the supplies to do it. I mean, they're not state-of-the-art, but they're there.
I mean, you investing in the green screen that I'm looking at right now.
Which is just a green bed sheet.
But, I mean, hey, it works.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you, with your wrestling videos, which is mainly the main topic right now, that's mainly what you're doing right now, seeing from where you started to now, which was, when did you start doing this? A couple months ago?
Yep.
Going from your first video to now is like, holy shit, it's not even the same. It doesn't even look like the same production anymore. It's just, it's continuously getting better. You had that video there, was it last week? You had the Titus O'Neil video?
Yep.
That was like, got you well over 2,000 views.
Yeah, which I'm averaging like 60 views a video. That one I send out just 2,000 views.
And it's just, I was like, holy fuck, like,
yeah.
That's insane.
I was shocked when I checked it on my phone right after I uploaded it. It had 12 views. I'm like, that's weird.
12 views.
12 views. That usually takes me a day. I wake up the next morning, 189. It's like, I literally I was like, ugh, what? I rub my eyes and I'm like, that's not right.
There's no way.
That's not right. And then I'm like, look at it again. I'm like, is that 18.9 views? It's like, no, that's 189 views. And I check it later. It's 700 views. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? But like, if I can keep going with that kind of stuff, it's gonna build. And one after another, it slowly builds and
builds followers.
One person tells one person, they tell 2 people, they tell 2 people. That's like 100 people right there.
100%. So, what's as far as with the average noob, what kind of is obviously like talk about the studio and that, but as far as immediate plans, like say for the next year. So what do you, as far as like the wrestling and then the gaming thing, what kind of your plans are?
My idea, well, with YouTubing is a lot like wrestling in a way. You need a gimmick almost. And my thing was always like, I need a unique gimmick. But finding a unique gimmick and actually doing it are 2 different things. One's easier said than done. my idea was, I'm just going to start throwing things at the wall. Something's going to stick eventually. And to my knowledge, there's nobody who does wrestling reviews the way I do them.
I haven't seen any.
I mean, you could go to maybe What Culture WWE, but they're very negative towards wrestling too a lot.
Yeah, like what's the guy's name?
Adam.
Like Adam.
Adam Lampier.
I didn't like his things for a long time, and that's not me dissing him. I was like, man, I don't like that guy. Yeah. But now I get it.
I mean, do I make fun of wrestlers? Yeah, of course I do.
Of course, that's the comes with the territory.
Do I hate some wrestlers? Of course I do, and I'm going to speak down on them sometimes because that's just my attitude.
Yeah, it comes with the territory.
Yeah, but like, I still love the whole idea of it. I love the idea of the business of wrestling. I love, and I remember the one thing I thought of. It's just like the one video that What Culture made was, if I didn't get paid to watch Raw, I probably wouldn't. He literally says that in one episode of one video they made. And I'm like, okay, that really, like, it really, like, made me think. It's like, wow, if he wasn't getting paid, he wouldn't be doing this. I'm sitting here doing it without getting paid, and I'm just sitting here watching Raw every Monday, and I literally enjoy it.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, at some point, I got to catch up with the guy who doesn't like watching it and wouldn't be doing it if he wasn't getting paid.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time till I catch up with that guy.
Yeah, I mean, me being a bit more of a hardcore fan for longer, I mean, I'll sit down and watch Raw sometimes, and it's like, fuck, like, just...
Yeah.
But that's just, I still love wrestling, and I mean, that's why I'm such a big fan of your videos, aside from the fact, hey, that's, like, my best friend fucking on YouTube. I go, okay, I agree with a lot of your opinions, and I like what you do, and, it's fun for me too, just to be like, oh, fucking, doing this and that. And with, I have no idea what I was going to say. I guess just continuing on with what you were talking about as far as what kind of more you're playing, everything, as far as the wrestling YouTube channel that you're kind of aim to do, like, by the end of the year or anything like that, or any more immediate plans? Or?
1 million subscribers is one.
Of course.
Yeah, obviously.
Is there anything kind of coming up that you want to talk about that you're doing for it, or anything new, or new segments? I
eventually want to get into do more, like, right now my videos are strictly me rambling in front of a camera doing jump cuts. I've taught myself how to video edit and all that. I've taught myself how to use After Effects. Once I have some upgraded hardware, I'll be doing more complex videos. Top 10s is something I really want to start doing. Keep on, like, evolving everything. I like the setting. Like, I got the green screen right now. I probably should get a better one. Probably something bigger.
Yeah, it looks good though.
But you can flail my arms around. I flail my arms around sometimes in videos. You can see the green screen kind of like falter at some points. Like, oh god. So I gotta fix that. I need some more lighting. But, like, other than stuff that's off camera, like, I think as I make more of these videos, I'll be more refined in my approach, and then they'll kind of just... I'll ease my way into some sort of rhythm, which is what I really want.
Yeah, so, like, you're
So what I can really say what's coming is improved videos.
And new segments, potentially.
New segments, yeah.
New topics of videos and stuff.
Predictions, reactions to Raw, pay-per-views, and all that. I'm not going to predict Raws.
I know what you mean.
But, like... Pay-per-view predictions.
This week on reactions. Raw, it's going to suck.
Pay-per-view reactions, pay-per-view predictions, news stories if I find them quickly enough. Like, if the story's 2 days old, I'm not going to cover it at that point. I mean, because probably 16 million other guys have. Mm. But if I find one that's, like, just kind of hot off the press sort of thing, like a couple of hours old, it's like, yeah, I'm going to cover it.
Well, I find out a lot of what's going on through you now. Like, Sheamus. Mm-hmm. And that arm injury he had, whatever the hell was going on with that. I literally was on I turned on my Facebook and I saw your video and I was like, what? Like, no way.
Yeah, because right now majority of my views come from the people I know on Facebook, which I'm getting less and less. I think people are getting more disinterested that I know. I have to start building up a YouTube fan base now instead of the Facebook fan base.
Well, I think you're heading in the right direction with it as far as the wrestling, and I mean, it's something people can look forward to. As far as the gaming, is there any kind of immediate plans for that, or is it kind of on hold for now?
The gaming's for the majority, like, I'm right now doing any games I do that are on the channel or off my PC. I haven't been gaming as much off my PC, but once I get a whole setup done where I'm going off my PS4 on my capture card into the computer onto the software, and then making videos off of that, I'll be good to go. I think I'm gonna I'd like to actually have some videos up next week because I'm getting Far Cry Primal, and I think that'll be my first LP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you
be a hot
tweeted.
game.
Yeah.
I already pre-ordered it today. Go to the thing, pick it up, come play it for 4 hours, and then edit that out to something. And because I've never played a Far Cry game in my life, I just bought Far Cry 4 today. I'm gonna play that, see how that turns out, because it looks like a game I'd get. It looks like
yeah. I'm surprised you've never played them before.
It looks like
it's up your alley.
It looks like 1000 BC Borderlands, which I like. So, Borderlands is my favorite FPS. So,
yeah.
But the thing I know with like just starting these channels is you have to be relevant. You have to play relevant games, because nobody's gonna find a small channel where they're playing, Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah.
You have to play the newest games that are coming out right now, and then once you get popular enough, people watch you play anything.
Yeah, of course. Is there anything as far as your average new brand, I guess, that
I really want to start a sports channel.
Just talking about sports in general.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know if I'd have to split that into different sports. That'd be a lot of work if I had to do that. I'm already having trouble coordinating the channels on my phone as there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
I can imagine having, 6 with all the 4 different major sports, as well as the wrestling and the gaming, right? So, but yeah. And I'm hoping to get better with social media. I'm starting to use Twitter more.
Yeah, well, you're like a tweet machine, especially doing Raw.
comparing to what I was like this time a couple months ago. I didn't know how to use Twitter a couple months
ago. As we record this, the Monday that just passed, I tried keeping up with you.
I don't know what it is, but when I'm watching wrestling, I'm sitting there. I have my phone in my hand the whole time. I'm sitting there like, let's go. There we go. And I'm going.
I was trying to keep up with you, and I was just like, I can't do it. Like, I can't. I just can't do it.
Like, now I got... Actually, no, that is not my Twitter. Apparently my dating website got me a hit, but that's...
Oh, there you go. All right, yeah, that's important too, know.
No, it's not.
It's
not. When we do our episode on online dating, I'll be on that episode.
Oh, we will... I can.
I have some horror stories for that episode.
God. Well, I can guarantee that this is definitely not the last time that Brandon will be on the show for sure.
It'll be the last time I shamelessly plug my channel. Your average noob.
Now, just real quick, kind of run through everything right here now.
All right, so Facebook, actually not the Facebook, the YouTube. You can just search it. Your average noob. Again, the noob is with 2 zeros, not O's. Your Average Noob Wrestling, exact same thing. On Twitch, it's twitch.tv/YourAverageNoob. And then the Facebook is Your Average Noob. And I changed it from Your Average Noob Gaming. I took your advice in that. And the Twitter is Average Noob TV. Because Your Average Noob was taken.
Fuckers. The goddamn.
I know, it's the one thing that doesn't match. But I'm like, can't much do about it.
Is. But...
I broke like 58 followers the other day. I was happy about that.
That's pretty sweet. I think I just started the Harder Show stuff like last week. But I think I broke like 4 followers. I'm all excited. So if you're one of those 4 followers, thank you very much.
We're building an empire over here.
We are building. That's what I said to him yesterday. We were talking about the Twitter banter. I've been tweeting you a lot. It's like, oh, well, these are 2 separate entertainment empires that are starting up here, and we're going back and forth. And I mean, like I said, I'm sure Brandon will be on.
It's like the rise of like Columbia Records and Atlantic Records just all at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. This is Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock.
Yeah. Okay. If The Rock had does The Rock have a podcast?
He should, but he doesn't.
All right, Stone Cold and Steve JR then.
JR.
I'll find a cowboy hat. I'll be JR.
All right, cool. I'll be Steve Austin. But,
welcome, friends.
But like I said, this will definitely not be the last
We got some wonderful sponsors today.
Oh, God. Like I said...
Always want to thank the sponsors.
Like I said, this will definitely not be the last time we have Brandon on. I'm sure any sort of pay-per-view predictions or reactions I do of any kind, Brandon will be involved in. Like I said, we're going to do an episode at some point on dating in general. Brandon will definitely...
Oh, man, I'm the dating guru. As long as you want to know how to not get girls for at least 10 years straight.
And going to do a high school... Let's talk about things in high school, and that at some point I'm sure we'll do. Before we kind of wrap this up here, I just have one thing to say to you. It's just more of a statement, and I just want to get your live reaction.
All right.
And that statement is, she moaned like a wildebeest. And no one's going to know what that means, and that's the point. Oh, fuck.
That poor stationary bike.
Oh, God, I've never laughed so hard in my life.
You fell off hard to that bike.
I literally fell off a stationary bike, okay, folks? I fell off.
A wildebeest caused TJ to fall off a stationary bike.
Absolutely. So that's going to be it for us here today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed our talk here. I don't think we left anything out. Anything else you have left you want to talk about or plug or?
Follow me on SoundCloud. No, I don't have a SoundCloud.
You don't have a SoundCloud. You need to get on that SoundCloud.
I know, right?
I'm building a SoundCloud empire over here, so you need.
You have the Quarterstone page up yet for that SoundCloud?
I don't, but I'm going to. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. SoundCloud. Whenever.
Actually, I do have a SoundCloud.
Yeah, you have a personal one, don't you?
Yeah, I have my personal one. Yeah.
You need to follow me on SoundCloud there.
Yeah, I do.
I only have like 10 followers so far, so you got to get on that shit.
That.
But eventually when you decide you want to do a co-host podcast with me, you just let me know. All right. So all right, guys, that's going to be it for us. Thanks so much for hitting that play button and listening in. Brandon, thank you very much for being on the show, being my first. I don't like calling them interviews, so I'm going to call it hangout. And
thank you for hanging out with me.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for hanging out with me for the last fucking, 10 years, 9 years?
Oh, it's past 10 years.
Is it? Seriously?
Dude.
What?
It's like 10 years.
How old are we?
24.
Holy fuck.
When do you start high school? Like 14?
I don't know.
When do you usually start high school?
I don't even know anymore. It's been a long time. I appreciate you. You are like my best friend.
I appreciate you. You're loyal.
You're loyal. I appreciate you. And thank you again for being the first guest. And
thank you for having me as the first guest, having the faith in me to be the first guest.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it can only, I figured start off strong. It can only go up from here.
True. That's extremely true.
Oh, God. All right, guys. Thanks again so much for listening and hitting that play button. We will catch you guys again.